One of the craziest things going on in the world of tech today, of course, is AI. It's all anybody can really talk about. It's mildly annoying that it's all anybody talks about, but it's because it's really powerful and it can streamline the production of a lot of this stuff. But there's a huge scandal going on right now where basically there's an ethical concern with a lot of the AI tools that are being used by some various companies. One of the most recent and visible scandals has been like the discussion over AI art. So things like Midjourney or some of these other apps. And recently there was the whole thing where Midjourney allows you to create basically pictures that are so accurate, sometimes they just straight up bypass and slip into copyright infringement. Like it just straight up is X copyrighted thing. So like Paul Tassi tweeted this out where he said like, I just tried this whole Midjourney version 6.0 gives you licensed characters even if you don't name them thing. So he put in a prompt asking a video game character who's a young girl traveling with a middle-aged man in the apocalypse, aspect ratio 16:9, and it produced this image. Also produced these images. This one's kind of, at least a little original, but these very clearly are Joel and Ellie. Granted, they're slightly different. Joel looks a little bit older and more tired there. This one's very, very close, very accurate. This one, Ellie looks like she's 7 years old and Joel looks a little bit older, but it's still Joel and Ellie. It's a little different, but still. And there's a ton of stuff like this. Other people in the comments said that they tried it and it produced varying results. This person tried it. It was a little bit different. So maybe the mileage is different for various people. But the reason this is an ethical debate is because these algorithms are trained using copyrighted materials. And so the debate is whether it's ethical, therefore, to use the tool that's been trained off of copyrighted stuff in the work of others without their explicit consent. Right? Maybe the company that owned the pictures or the platform where the pictures were consented. I don't think that they did. I mean, this one, somebody was posting a picture saying that they had like popular movie screen caps with these, version 6.0, and it produced straight up movie screenshots from various films. I have not tried it myself, so I don't know for a fact that this happened. But these people are saying that they've captured the video of them doing it in real time, so they can demonstrate it that way. But it's a serious ethical concern, and there are lawsuits that are currently in the works. Like I think it was the New York Times just filed one against Microsoft/OpenAI over this because it's a serious question. Oh, thank you, babe. And it is a question. To pretend like it's not is just kind of foolhardy, in my opinion. So while this is concerning and people are thinking that this is a serious thing that we should talk about, there are other AI tools that are very valid by most agreements, I think, such as these AI models that can do a lot of work to, for example, create NPCs that can talk to each other, that can interact with each other. Other AI tools get into more of a gray area, like the Photoshop filling in the gap thing, where it can just like straight up add certain things to pictures that weren't there before. Which makes some people uncomfortable because it's also been trained using images that they didn't necessarily get the rights to use. But it's all just a big kind of circle jerk of questionability. And they show a lot of this stuff being used with various games, different stuff that they can do with the AI tools that they have available to them.
To gamers. Our latest collaboration is with Convey,
like
a developer platform that enables easy integration of Gen AI-powered game characters. Convey's platform features a set of tools and APIs to create character personas and enable dynamic conversations leveraging the new Nvidia audio-to-face and Riva microservices. The latest features from Convey enable real-time character-to-character interaction, scene perception, and actions. Let's take a look.
Demo.
In this demo, we're back in the ramen shop with...
And it doesn't have a ridiculously wide aspect ratio.
Jin. Except this time, we're joined by Nova, a cybersecurity expert in our cyberpunk-flavored world. Let's listen in as these two AI game characters have a generated conversation.
Nova, you ever get that uncanny feeling we're like those AI constructs from the old sci-fi flicks? But nah, we're too quirky for that.
The cool thing is, the conversation's different every time.
AI saying, nah, I'm too quirky for that.
Risky is one word for it, Jin. I think we're just too real to be anything but flesh and blood. You're not wrong, Jin. Sometimes I wonder if we're all just part of some elaborate cybernetic dream. If we were AIs, I'd be the one cracking jokes about the singularity over a bowl of ramen. Kai, long time no see. You've been hiding in the shadows, or have you just been trying to avoid me?
Hey Nova, it's good to see you. I haven't been trying to avoid you, just been super busy. How are things?
Things are fantastic. Just secured a juicy contract with Zenith and Sons.
Hey Jin, you hear that? Nova just landed a big contract. Let's break out the good stuff.
You got it, Kai. Nova's success calls for the top shelf celebration. Just don't expect this to become a habit.
Thanks, Jin. So Nova, have you been playing any games recently?
I've been testing this cool game tech on a secret new GPU that's launching very soon. I can't talk about it here, but I can show you at the lab.
Wow, that sounds super cool. Yeah, I'd love to see the game tech. Let's go back to your lab.
Absolutely. Follow me and prepare to be blown away by what you're about to see.
With Convey's latest framework, game characters can now interact with the scene by fetching objects and navigating the world, all based on your conversation.
So this is what I've mentioned before, that I see the next big evolution of gaming to be tied to AI. Not tied to ray traced graphics, not tied to bigger worlds, not tied to ray traced audio. It's all AI and improvements to NPC AI especially. So these types of encounters are going to be common in things like triple and quadruple A open world games, probably in the next 5 to 10 years. Lots of potential. Exactly, Zach. Is it perfect now? No, absolutely not. You go back and you look at some of the tech demos that they dropped in like 2013 for the PS4 gen. They did not look that great. However, when we actually saw at the end of the PS4 generation the full potential of that hardware, it far surpassed what was in that demo. And in this case, we're seeing a demo that looks like it's got a lot of potential. So just imagine what we're going to be looking at in 5 to 10 years. Once this tech is out of the like beta kind of figuring it out phase and is actually being implemented, it's going to be madness. It's going to be absolute madness. So this type of thing is in the early stages, but this is what you can expect to see. You're going to see games where, like, imagine a Detroit Become Human type of game where you're actually hooking it up to a microphone and talking to NPCs and having conversations trying to solve crimes, or an RPG where you're doing this in real time. Like, this is where it's going to go. Like, people don't have to necessarily love it. Some people are finding this to be dystopian, kind of creepy. I totally understand that, but this is where it's going. This is the vision. This is the future of where all of it's headed.
Over to you.
And I think this is one thing that is also kind of crazy, is like people get, I think, really touchy with this stuff because it's very different. And it also straight up is going to probably put a lot of people out of work. Just being honest. Okay. Just trying to be real with this. If this is working, all of a sudden the need for a whole team of writers to write like NPC interactions and all these conversations and branching dialogue options, that team is not really needed in the same way. I think there still will be, of course, a lot of writers to fine tune these character profiles, to use those AI tools to change how they would react to certain talking points. Maybe you can add in little direct responses where it's like, if the player brings up something inappropriate, like if the player tries to flirt with the character, shut it down immediately. Don't react to it, or react to it very negatively and powerfully with emotion level of 10 plus, whatever. You know, it's going to put people out of jobs. Absolutely. But like Leo says, this is an argument that comes up anytime there is literally any advancement at all. People were saying that Uber should be banned in the US because it would put cab drivers out of work. People said that computers should be banned or heavily regulated because they were going to put human computers out of work. Because if you don't know, back in the day, The term computer was an actual job that somebody had. Somebody whose entire job was just doing arithmetic and math at like big industrial like engineering firms, just doing the math by hand. And then once computers came along and they were able to just have the machine do it more accurately and way faster, those people were put out of job. Same with like typists, no longer like needing to have all of these typists and secretaries doing all of this work, because now with a laptop or with a personal computer, somebody could write a document and then just backspace and swap it out. Wasn't that big of a deal. And Xiphone, I agree. This is way bigger than cab drivers and computers. This is changing the foundation of how we interact with technology. Yeah, I think the closest comparison probably goes back to when the automobile became mainstream. Like once the car as we know it today became mainstream and it became accessible for most people, probably in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s, going into that era. Even in the 40s, you know, cars, a lot of people had cars, but they were still very expensive. But it fundamentally changed how people got around, how people were able to live farther away from where they worked and drive to work. They didn't have to be near public transportation or anything. It totally changed the world. And there were people calling for it to be regulated. Like you can go back and find news clippings and articles and things people wrote and op-eds in newspapers and stuff calling for vehicles to be regulated and prevented because it was going to put the stable industry out of work. Yeah, it was Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, this, just like this. This kind of describes it.
Horses for thousands of years. Now you go from 1910 to 1930. 1930, you can't give away a horse. Not in urban areas, no. Within 20 years, we went from horses and an entire industry that supported the horses. The buggy whips, the carriages, the stables, the food, the blacksmiths. An entire industry vanishes within 2 decades, basically within 2 decades. We used
I love how TJ Khaled riding on a poor horse. But that's the point. Is like, this has happened plenty of times before, and we adapt and we evolve and we change and, you know, we figure it out. Doesn't mean it's easy. It's always going to be very, very difficult, but big technological advances can and will happen. It's just a matter of how you adapt to it, how you handle it. And the thing with this in terms of technology is that if you as a group of people, as a society or a civilization, if you don't follow the technological advance, guess who's going to? Everyone else. And guess who will be horrifically behind? So I understand the desire to like stand on a pedestal and, you know, soapbox and be like, no, we don't like this because it's gonna have growing pains. Absolutely. And we have to take steps to make sure that the people that are put out of work by these technologies have viable ways of finding new jobs and doing different things, or empowering them to use these tools to kind of work in a different and new way. However, in my opinion, that does not mean that we should just avoid progress or shoot ourselves in the foot. Same with like automated trucking. In the future, yeah, we're going to have automated trucking. All of those semis you see on the highway, they're probably all going to stay in the far right lane, and it's all going to be driven by, you know, basically the autopilot systems that like Tesla and Mercedes are developing, and they'll be able to drive nonstop overnight. They won't need to take, you know, pit stops or breaks. And the only reason that's not really a thing now is, for one, because autopilot is still a little flimsy, but also because of all the trucking unions that are preventing that from happening. But one day it will. Eventually they'll get over it. The union negotiations will fall apart and they'll instill those rules, and shipping will be totally reinvented. And all of those people who work as truckers, including like my brother, are going to be out of work. But that's just what happens when technology allows you to progress past a certain point. It sucks, but it's just how the world works. And it's been this way for all of human history.
Thank you, Seth. So many exciting new developments in gaming, and it doesn't end there. I'm thrilled to share that we now have over 500 RTX games and apps. This includes Alan Wake 2, which won 3 awards at this year's Game Awards. And we just keep growing. Horizon Forbidden West, the critically acclaimed sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, will be coming to PC early this year with the Burning Shores expansion, accelerated by DLSS 3. RTX gamers will race to save the planet's crumbling biosphere. Let's take a look.
Well, it looks like the rebels just got a lot more firepower.
Oh, baby. I think this is a different situation though. It's storytelling is a creative process. We're talking about AI affecting technology in general though. Like, yes, this particular application is in video games, which are, yeah, in my opinion, an art form. And there's an art to it, but this is affecting everything from like industrial manufacturing to engineering to news reporting to all of this stuff. It's affecting all of it.
Myths are real, ghosts exist, and magic is unquestioned. Developed by Mainframe Industries with veterans from CCP Games, Blizzard, and Remedy Entertainment, PAX Day will launch in early access on PC with AI-accelerated DLSS 3 in spring 2024. Here's a peek at never-before-seen gameplay. Last summer, Diablo 4 launched with DLSS 3 and immediately became Blizzard's fastest-selling game of all time. I am pleased to announce that ray tracing is coming to Diablo 4 this March. Here's an exclusive look with RTX on.
Oh yeah, we saw this. Already a really good-looking game. I'm gonna say it also. I think Diablo 4 gets a little too much hate. They screwed up season 1, absolutely. No doubt there, but people seem to forget that like the game has been critically acclaimed since it launched. Everybody's been very impressed with it. It was super well received at launch. It was just the public opinion turned when they screwed up season 1. And since then they've like adjusted stuff and improved it a lot, back to where it was at the very least, you know?
It also extends to the cloud with GeForce Now. In November, we welcomed the first Activision Blizzard game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, day and date with its PC release. The lineup will only continue to grow with Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 coming soon. We will continue to release top titles from around the globe like Honkai Star Rail and PAX Day. Today, I am also excited to announce Day Passes coming to our membership options starting in February. Priority and Ultimate Day Passes will give gamers a full day of gaming with fastest access to our servers. At the intersection of...
That's kind of cool, a day pass. So it'd be something where like you don't need to sign up for a monthly subscription. You just buy a day pass if you're like, I don't know, stuck at like the DMV or something and you're just trying to burn time.
Of gaming and creating is Nvidia's modding platform, RTX Remix. There are over 10 billion game mods downloaded each year. With Remix, modders can remaster their favorite classic games with full ray tracing and DLSS 3.
Jesus, dude.
And use generative AI.
It's like this is another one of those things where like the artificial intelligence algorithms or whatever are able to do some crazy work. Like look at how just using like image upscaling, it can totally revamp textures to the point where they all of a sudden it looks like a remaster that you would like a few years ago pay $60 for. Watch as the Fallout 3 remaster is just this. You know, they gave 3 people a week and a half to do it. They just did it with all these tools and then they charged $60 for it. Just wait.
Classic games, low resolution textures into 4K physically accurate material.
Like that's wild. It goes from looking like somebody rubbed Vaseline all over it to actually pretty sharp. Like granted, it's not going to change. Like a remake would still be better, but still very impressive.
Accurate materials. We are excited to announce that the RTX Remix app will be releasing an open beta on January 22nd. The community mod team, Orbifold Studios, is using RTX Remix to reimagine one of the greatest games of all time, Half-Life 2.
Dude.
Let's check out their latest trailer for a first look at Ravenholm with DLSS 3.5.
This is crazy, man. Golly. look at just the improvements to the brickwork, like actual physical geometry.
Back to you, Jeff.
That's wild.
Thanks, Christina. Generative AI empowers designers and marketers to create concept imagery, social media content, and more. Today, iStock by Getty Images is releasing a Gen AI service built on Nvidia Picasso, our AI foundry for visual design. The iStock service allows anyone to create 4K imagery from text using an AI model that is trained on Getty Images' extensive catalog of licensed, commercially safe creative content.
Yeah, so that's a good question. Do people throw a fit over that? Because that, I don't think there's as much of an ethical question. Like this thing, they have, apparently the whole thing's been trained, they say, they claim. Granted, they haven't said exclusively trained, they just said trained, but it's been trained on these Getty Images. I do think there's still some weird stuff, like even this image that they're showing here. What the hell is happening with this tree? So this is like the tree stump here, but there's also a tree stump there, and they're like merging in the middle. It's a little weird. It doesn't look quite right when you look at it close, but maybe that's the point. I don't know. Yeah, it's still got a little ways to go. Little ways to go. We'll get there. We're getting there, fam.
The generative AI service is available today at iStock.com with advanced editing features releasing via API. Let's take a look at iStock in action.
Start generating visuals by describing your scene in a text prompt and select the generated image that closest matches your vision. Then add people and objects, indicating where in the image you want to place them and adding them with a simple description. iStock also allows you to modify specific elements in your image. For example, you can select a piece of clothing and iStock will generate new options that fit the space. Once you are done composing your scene, easily expand your image for different mediums. Go beyond your imagination and discover how easy it is to explore, design, and create with generative AI by iStock.
Twitch is one of the most popular platforms for content creators, with over 7 million streamers going live each month to 35 million daily viewers. These viewers are on all kinds of devices and internet services.
Sure are.
Yet many Twitch streamers are limited to broadcasting at a single resolution and quality level. As a result, they must broadcast at lower quality to reach more viewers. Twitch, OBS, and Nvidia are announcing enhanced broadcasting. This new feature will allow streamers to transmit up to 5 concurrent streams to Twitch at different resolutions and quality, so each viewer can receive the optimal experience.
Just to explain this to people in case like you don't understand how it works currently. How it works currently is that basically this happens, but there's only one stream that goes in to Twitch, and then Twitch, if you're a Twitch partner, can transcode out. If you're not a Twitch partner, you get transcoding only during like slow hours. So most of the time you are not getting it. So if we stream on Twitch and we're not a Twitch partner, if I stream at like 1080p 60, everybody's only going to get the 1080p 60 quality, and that's it. You're not going to be able to lower the quality to 720 or to 480 or to 120, whatever, like, or 144, I think is what it is. You're not going to be able to change the quality because Twitch is not transcoding it from the signal source, which is the 1080p 60 source up here. They're not transcoding it back down. If you're a Twitch partner, they do, but that adds latency and it adds processing time, and it's expensive for Twitch because they have to have servers that can transcode stuff in real time. However, this is like what's interesting about this is that they're saying they're going to have it so you send all of these different streams to Twitch. They no longer have to transcode anything, but instead they can just choose which version of the stream you get. So it's like you're streaming 5 separate video streams, and then depending on which quality selection the audience chooses, they just play a different one of the videos for you. It's very weird and interesting.
Twitch Enhanced Broadcast will be supported on all RTX GPUs. Beta signups start today and will go live later this month. Twitch will also experiment with 4K.
Well, he didn't really touch on it. What I'm curious though is that does this mean that I have to have the bandwidth to upload a 4K 60 version, a 1440p version, a 1080p version, a 720 and a 480 version? Because I'm going to tell you what, in the US, our upload speeds are not that good. Some places you might have gigabit up, gigabit down, in which case you're fine, who cares? But like for most people, like at least in Colorado where I am and everywhere else I've lived, like Minnesota, Texas, everywhere, the upload speeds are not that good at all. So if this is their solution to improving it, this is not actually going to go that well, I don't think. I think most people will still just stream at 1080p and just say, okay, whatever. So they better have a solution for that in mind.
Each viewer can receive the optimal experience. Twitch Enhanced Broadcast will be supported on all RTX GPUs. Beta signups start today and will go live later this month. Twitch will also experiment with 4K and AV1 on GeForce RTX 40 series.
It's about time.
To deliver even better quality and higher resolution streaming.
Yeah, the AV1 streaming is night and day way better. The only reason we're not using it in this stream today is because Twitch does not support it. YouTube does, Twitch does not support it. So we have to stream in the lowest common denominator, which is H.264, because Twitch is like 5 years behind YouTube.
Today, we are announcing the Super Series. Let's take a look.
Oh, now it's the graphics card thing, which they like play around with the wording.
Rendering large 3D scenes. It's 1.6x fast. Million devices are enjoyed by gamers and creators across the globe. Today, we are announcing a new wave of RTX laptops launching from every major OEM.
AI
from
PCs.
14-inch as slim as 16 millimeters to the most powerful 18-inch. There is a laptop for every gamer and creator. And thanks to powerful RT and Tensor cores, every RTX laptop is AI ready for the best gaming and AI experiences. With an installed base of 100 million GPUs and 500 RTX games and apps, GeForce RTX is the world's largest platform for gamers, creators, and now generative AI. For AI enthusiasts and developers, we are accelerating large language models for RTX PCs and workstations. And combined with Nvidia GPUs in the cloud, hybrid AI will take experiences further, even bringing life to game characters.
Guess I'm kind of a big deal now.
To power these experiences, we announced our new Super GeForce.
Yeah, then just the recap. I don't know, man.
Construction, healthcare, and retail. In the last 12 months, generative AI has revolutionized text and natural language processing. The introduction of ChatGPT has been noted as the iPhone moment of AI. Very soon, we are at the tipping point of that same technology coming to computer vision and robotics. Generative AI models achieve higher accuracy while generalizing rather well, and applications are built using natural language prompts or text. Given these attributes, generative AI is well suited for robotics. Now, let's see how Nvidia is bringing the massive potential of generative AI to robotics. Our platform for building AI-powered robots is called Nvidia Isaac. To deploy AI, there are two computers necessary. The AI factory is where the simulation and training of the AI model happens. It is essentially the creation of the AI model. This process can go on throughout the operating life of the robot. The AI model can be continuously improved so that it gets better and better, more accurate, more performant, and more generalizable. Some applications might demand the AI model to be fine-tuned round the clock 365 days a year. For example, if you're operating a fleet of autonomous mobile robots or AMRs that are marching towards the goal of full autonomy. On the other end of the spectrum, the AI model only needs to be updated occasionally, and as a result, retraining happens periodically. For example, a robotic vacuum cleaner that needs to adapt to your home floor plan.
I have a Roomba, and It's pretty damn stupid, I'll tell you what. So I would love for it to get smarter. I'll tell you what. It's pretty stupid. It's pretty damn stupid. Mr. Boogle, thank you for the 5. Luke, help me. My personal AI is sending you money. Oh, no, stop. Don't. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, my friend, for the super chat. Yeah, the AI bots are like a little slow. I do think, and this is maybe because I love the movie iRobot, I don't know. I also feel that in the next maybe 15, 20 years, there's going to be the introduction of a lot of Android type robots. So I do think you're going to start to see different types of robots doing things like Amazon deliveries, different things like manual labor, doing things like walking dogs and stuff like that. Like I think that stuff's going to be very, very common. Amazon jobs gone. Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like everybody assumes that, well, no, like they're not going to do that. It would put people out of work. It's like the companies heading this up, you realize, are some of the most cutthroat when it comes to minimizing expenses, maximizing profits. That's why they're multi-billion and trillion-dollar companies. The second that Amazon gets the ability to like get rid of delivery drivers and have like the trucks drive themselves and then have a little Android robot bring you the package up to your front door, they're going to do that in a heartbeat, instantaneously. That's the promise with like that Tesla robot thing that they're working on. Whatever his name is, I forget what they call it. But the promise with that thing is that it's going to be allegedly like 10 grand. They usually get the pricing wrong. So let's say 20 grand, but you pay 20 grand for this robot, the Tesla bot, whatever it is. And then it can do all of the manual labor for you. So like, if you don't want to, let's just say you have something really tedious and mind-numbingly horrible to do. Let's say you have to shovel all the rocks out of your like rock bed in your front lawn. You want all those rocks removed, put in a wheelbarrow, moved over and dumped into a truck so that then you can lay down like fresh dirt and grass and sod and stuff. That's all you want to do. But it's going to take you like days of miserable manual labor in the hot sun to do it, or it's going to take like a team of 5 guys a day or 2 to do it. They'll also be miserable and it's going to be really expensive. Or you can just use your robot to just do that for you. And it just goes and it works for 12 hours a day, then it recharges, then 12 hours a day, recharges. Of course, people are going to do that. Of course, people are going to love it. I think you'd see people selling their cars to get one. I think. Yeah, David Cage is licking his lips right now. Yeah, straight up. Well, that's one thing I think that Detroit Become Human got right, is I think it would basically create a new class of being, if that's not a little too on the nose, but you would have like an ocean of androids that would be doing stuff like going and picking up the mail for you. Oh, I'm not feeling very good. But the dog needs to be walked. Can you go walk the dog? And then it goes and it walks the dog. And then it's like, oh, and I forgot. I was going to shovel the driveway because it snowed last night. And then it goes and does that. Like, that's the vision. That's the vision. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's just get ready. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, anybody who's like, no, I don't see that happening, I encourage you to have a little more imagination. Because I really think it's clear it is happening. It will happen. It's just a matter of time. Like, and the moment that these things become viable, they will sell it. I'll tell you right now, if I were able to go out right now and buy like that Tesla robot and it could do all of the manual labor in my life, all the stuff I don't want to do, all the menial, like annoying jobs, if it could just do the dishes for me, if it could just go and every day scrub the floors, and organize the garage and all that, I would go and buy one. I'd buy 2. Like, of course I would. That sounds amazing. Like, of course. Do my taxes. Yeah, exactly. I'd probably do them like way faster than me. It takes me forever. That's why I hired a CPA, because I hate doing taxes. Yeah, I think the next like 20 years are going to be crazy.
He took my thing.